everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Trailhead. This week we've got an incredible guest all the way from New Zealand, the owner of Aarn, Daniel Farber. Daniel, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm going well, thank you. Thanks for having me
Good.
on.
I don't know why I feel like I'm yelling just because you're far away, but I know that you're not far away. We're digitally really close. So, but yeah, thanks for being on. I did get the chance to try on your packs at a conference and kind of fell in love with the comfort of it and the functionality of it. And I thought it'd be just great for people to, one, hear the story of the brand, you know, like we always chat on Beyond the Trailhead, but also just kind of how you came into the business and just how Aarn is. It's such a unique pack that I just before we got on, I was saying how once you try an Aarn pack on, you're really sold on the comfort and functionality of it. So I guess just go ahead and go into Aarn
Okay.
and the company and how you became what you are.
Okay, cool. Yep. So we are the second owners of the brand. Aarn is actually the name of the chap who started the brand.
Yeah.
And I think we're over 20 years old at this point. And he's one of these inventors, designers, and he basically from university days started making his own gear.
Yeah.
Got into we call it tramping here. So I switch between, if I switch between tramping and backpacking, that's
Yeah.
what, I'm just, I'm
Okay.
multilingual. But anyway, so he got into backpacking here, early days and started making his own gear. And so he just became a designer. He went off around the world and mainly in the UK. He worked as a designer for some big brands over there
Yeah.
for years. And then he's one of these guys, gets something in his mind, he just keeps working on it, working on it, working on it, and he wanted to create a pack that is super comfortable and that carries a load better than anything else out there.
Yeah.
And so Aarn Packs
I
now is like a combination of everything that was too far or too
Mhm.
much to sell to another brand.
Yeah.
So anything he thought of and he just was dying to do, he came back to New Zealand and started the company and made these crazy packs that have all
Yeah.
these moving parts and all this sort of stuff. And that's kind of like how it all got started. So the brand itself, you want me to go into like how they work a little bit, I suppose?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Um,
guess how did it go from being Aarn's Aarn
yep.
to to Daniel's Aarn?
Okay, cool. So originally I'm from the US, I've always been into outdoor stuff. Uh, started in high school backpacking and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. Got into rock climbing, kayaking. Um, I found, my friends had gone off to university. All of a sudden, I was like lost. What am I going to do? I was not a good student at all. So I ended up doing this like Parks and Recreation Management degree.
Yeah.
So just always that's led on to environmental stuff the whole way. So I used to work for environmental organizations in Boston,
Okay.
probably like youth and education program, like camping trips and canoes trips and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then, then I had a chance to go off to the UK with my wife. So what was supposed to be a 1-year adventure turned into 5. So over there, and I did the same thing, environmental work. And then eventually, I was listening to the BBC one day, and they were talking about New Zealand and report on how it was, a great place to live and how
Yeah.
outdoorsy it was. And like 2 days later, my wife comes home and says, "There's a job in New Zealand I could apply for." And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So again, here we are 17 years later, and I'm still here. But that's how I went down this road and ended up with
Yeah.
Aarn Packs. So I was a stay-at-home dad for a while, when we moved over here.
Mhm.
And then when my second child was getting ready to go to school, I started to think about what am I gonna do again? Am I gonna go back into environmental work? But I've always just had business ideas for everywhere we went.
Yeah.
And so I thought about doing a business degree. And the more I thought about going back to university,
You're
yeah,
like, no.
I'm not doing that again. Not interested.
Yeah.
So I just thought, well, I'll start to uh, just teach myself. I'll start a business. I'll see how I get on. If it doesn't work out by the time my son is in school, I'll just go back and get a job.
Yeah.
And so that's where I started. I started bringing in some sea kayaks from the US.
Yeah.
So imported some kayaks and then worked with them for a bit, and then they suggested I contact this company in the UK. So then I was importing life jackets and PFDs and all that kind of everything
Okay.
around kayaking.
Yeah.
So then I was learning how to do, this is kind of early days of e-commerce. So I was setting up a website and getting on Facebook and doing all that sort of stuff. And that was going well. So I then thought, well, I'll start a store. I'll test the waters a little bit,
Yeah.
starting an outdoor store. And so there's a ski shop in town doing ski rentals. And for 2 summers straight, they would push all their gear back to the back of the building. I
Mhm.
moved in all my kayak stuff, and run a shop for the summer,
Oh,
basically. So it was kind of like testing the waters. But in the meantime, I'd been thinking, well, this is going well. If I add an outdoor brand, then that will help round things out, bigger customer base, that sort of thing.
yeah.
Um, and long story short, that's how I now met my business partners, husband and wife team that I work with.
Okay.
And I was one of their first customers, wholesale customers. So they were selling me backpacks and all sorts of stuff. And
Wow.
so at some point I was like, this is either got to be bigger or smaller. So I decided between going back to just online only or open a store properly.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, approached him and said, you know what, we should actually just throw in together and do this
Yeah.
and open a store. We'll give it a go. So that's what happened. And then he brought Aarn Packs with him. So he was
Mhm.
working as the sales rep for Aarn for New Zealand. And then when we had we literally didn't even sign a contract with each other. We found the building, we both signed the lease, and
Yeah.
away we went. So one of the things we did was go to Arn and say, look, we can be your warehouse, we can be your wholesale fulfillment, and all this sort of stuff. So that's how we ended up with this kind of long-term relationship with Arn. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, and it was critical for us as a store because it brought people in the store every day. We're trying to get
Yeah.
started, not really that well known, and the brand was getting bigger, and people were seeking it out. So it
Yeah.
brought us a new customer into the store every day, um,
Okay.
which was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
You could,
Yeah.
at first you could sit there for the day and no one would come in. You'd be like, okay, what time is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, once you fit a pack to someone, then you kind of have a relationship. They come back and get a sleeping bag or, tent or whatever else.
Yeah.
So that's how we
Yeah.
ended up like meeting Arn and working with Arn for a long time.
Okay.
And then here's the kind of the sad part of the story. So Arn got cancer, but I'll skip
Oh.
straight ahead to say he's
Yeah.
fine. He's recovered.
Oh,
So
awesome.
he got cancer. He was doing really well. Like his brand was starting to take off in other countries. He went to do some of the trade shows in Germany, and he won the Gold Award at Outdoor in
Okay.
2015. So it's like the top award he won for his designs. And so that was kind of going well, but like I say, he got cancer. Stuff started to the business started to shrink back and that
Mhm.
sort of thing. And he was getting older, and in the end, he was trying to retire. So he was looking to sell the business, and he had a couple false sales. But for us, I started to worry that it was going to disappear
Yeah.
because it was important for us, in the store.
Oh, yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah, I said to my business partner, we should buy it and just keep it going, not having a clue what we were getting ourselves into or thinking about. Like
Yeah.
where's this thing going to go in the future? Not a clue that we even thought about that. It was more
Yeah.
like we've got to rescue it, make sure we've got it for ourselves.
Yeah.
It wasn't until after all that we started to think about, what are we going to do with it now?
Yeah.
So
So what
that's how we've ended up with it. This is kind of like roundabout, starting a store, doing wholesale, and then
yeah.
now we're a brand owner as well.
So what year did you acquire Arn then?
Oh, what was it? 2020. It was literally right before COVID. I mean, I think we signed the paperwork like 2 weeks
Yeah.
before COVID
Yeah.
started.
Wow.
So the first
So I
3 years we couldn't do anything.
yeah, because that's right. Because 'cause you're in New Zealand. Because I'm trying to think, like, I know COVID in some respects was really good for the outdoor industry because people were like, "Let's go outside," right? But then I guess it depends on the country you're in and then where you're manufacturing and everything else, how all that kinda came together. So how did that
Yeah. So
negatively and positively affect you?
we manufacture in Vietnam.
Okay.
So that was the negative side of it because they
Yeah.
shut down as a country.
Yeah.
So it was really like 3 years before we could get new product made.
Wow.
Um, but like you say, for us as a store,
Yeah.
it just took off. We were
Yeah.
so busy. It didn't matter to us. like financially, we weren't in trouble because we just bought the brand and then couldn't do anything with
Yeah.
it. So that was, thank goodness for that. But
Yeah.
yeah, so the store was busy, and basically those first couple of years, all we could do was just sell down on the stock
Yeah.
that we purchased with it.
Yeah.
So that just,
Did
just kept dropping away until we almost had nothing coming out the other end. Yeah.
did you have a pretty decent stock before all that happened, or was it kind of midway?
It was kind of it was decent-ish. It wasn't
Yeah.
too bad. And like I said, Arn's sales were starting to dwindle at that
Mhm.
point. So, like, Australia is much bigger now than it was at the time. New
Yeah.
Zealand's probably about, a little bit bigger, but similar. So
Yeah.
it wasn't the end of the world for us. But yeah,
Okay.
we had enough stock to keep things going for quite a while. But
Yeah.
towards the end, the warehouse was looking pretty empty.
So going back a little bit, when Aarn created the first Aarn Pack, when was that first year that was actually created? And like, when it is the first sale of like Aarn or the original Aarn Pack? Do you have
Gosh,
any idea?
I don't even know off the top of my head but literally, I think we're on, from the time he started a business, we're something like 25
Yeah.
years on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It took a
Awesome. And
long time. It took him a long time to, to build the community here, and his
mhm.
stuff was so radical that, if you see someone even now, when you would go
Yeah.
into, like, the US, someone will be like, "Front pockets? Why would you put front pockets on there?"
Yeah.
But once the
Yeah.
community got behind him, now, we don't, we don't typically sell a pack. Someone
Yeah.
else brings their friend in, or someone else
Yeah.
brings in their partner, and, we know they're gonna buy a pack as soon as they come
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
They walk in the store and they're like, "My friend," and it's like that conversation, they're gonna get an Aarn Pack.
Yeah. You're like, yes, I know they're buying it because I know they
Exactly.
just said my
Yeah.
friend.
My friend, my partner got one of these, and it's like, "Oh, yeah, Aarn Pack."
Yeah. So I guess so from when I saw the Arm Pack, I think the coolest part was it's not just the front packs that make an Arn unique, but it's also like the suspension system. And I guess we can go into it a little bit, but before you go into that, I I love front packs only because I always carry my camera gear because I'm a photographer and I'm always shooting for different brands in the mountains. So I have like a little hyperlight pack in the front of my chest.
Yeah.
And people always go, "Why are you carrying that? Isn't that heavy? Isn't that whatever?" And it is because it's awkwardly sitting on my shoulder straps. So it's
Yeah.
just pulling down. But
Yes.
then with an arm pack, like once you see the way the suspension sits, it's basically, and you can correct me if I'm wrong whenever I'm telling you saying anything that's wrong. But like it's like the suspension still pushes down on your hip belt. And so you don't have all that weight ripping down on your shoulders.
Exactly.
And I did a trip on the Colorado Trail. I needed a bigger bag for my camera gear because I was taking a drone and everything else. And so the bag was literally like, I'm gonna say it was 14 inches wide. I couldn't see my feet.
Yeah.
I couldn't, it was super heavy because now I had 13 pounds sitting on my shoulder straps
Yes.
and it was killing me. And then I ended up twisting my ankle when I was walking because I was trying to get something out of that thing. And long story short, I was like, man, I need something that works for my photography gear and everything else. And so I guess go and explain the suspension and just the bags, because for everybody that's listening, you're not going to see it, but for those watching on YouTube, you're going to see it and be like, oh, I get it.
All right. So yeah, I'll talk you through it, and we do have some SLR camera bags specifically as
Oh,
well,
cool.
Greg. So I'll show you those later.
Oh,
Um,
awesome.
all right. So I'll grab. So we do kind of like three different levels of harness systems, and I'll
Hmm.
talk about the one that's like at the top end that has the most moving parts and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. And then as you go down our range, then there you might lose like the moving hip belt or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'll grab this one. We've got an empty pack in front of me here. If
Oh,
I can
perfect.
move back, I'll hopefully not make too much noise with the mic.
You're
Um,
good.
so our whole design philosophy, we've got three ideas mainly. So we've got a moving harness, we have this balance system, and then we try to make our packs fit as customizable as possible.
Yeah.
So if we talk about the moving harness system first, so Arn's whole thing was, you know, when you're hiking, when you're walking, your body wants to move constantly.
Mhm.
And if you put on a traditional pack, it's kind of like locking you in a bit. And so to start with, we have a moving shoulder strap system we call U-Flow.
Okay.
I'll try not, tell me if this is too noisy, but
No,
so
you're good.
through the bottom of our pack, the shoulder straps are interconnected. So a typical pack, you're sewn in the top, and then the strap goes down and is sewn in at the bottom to the side. Ours are connected through the bottom of the pack. So they're interconnected. So the idea is that if you lift a shoulder or drop a
Yep.
shoulder, the harness is moving with you.
Yeah.
All right. So we call it U-Flow because it's in the shape of a U flowing through the
Okay.
bottom of the pack. So that's the first thing we do in terms of movement. And then for our full harness system, we have hip belt plate that carries the hip belt fins,
Mhm.
and it's attached to one single point in the back here.
Okay.
And that allows the hip belt to move side to side and front to back as well.
Yeah.
So every time you take a step, your hips are rotating, then this hip belt is actually going to move along with you. So it
Yeah.
rotates side to side. And then if I go this way, you can see it's also going to pull forward
Mhm.
away from the pack or backwards. So it's all
Yeah.
connected to that one single point. So it basically means, yeah, you're walking, your hips are moving, the pack is going to stay where it is, but
Yeah.
the hip belt's actually going to rotate side to side a little bit.
Yeah.
Or if you like wind up to jump across a stream or something like that, you kind of lean forward, your body can move away from the backpack
Okay.
with the harness still attached to you, but the back stays where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So
Yeah.
those are kind of like the three ranges of motion that we've built into the packs.
Yeah. And that's I don't know if you've ever seen that video of that pack that like is a bit of a joke. It's like it's on rails, and so when you walk, supposedly the pack just stays in one spot, and
I
it's
did see one that
hilarious,
went, yeah.
right? And it's like the very well refined version of like making it feel like you're flowing with your pack,
Yeah.
as opposed to, because when I tried it on at the show, I was like, oh, this feels so neat. It's such a unique feeling because you have never felt a pack move like that before,
Yeah. We call it
or
the
not
Aarn
move.
Boogie.
Yeah.
We call it the Aarn Boogie because people come into the store, you put a pack on someone. And I've, working in the store, I've fit probably 3,000 plus packs on people
Yeah.
over the years. And the response is always the same. People do this little dance in the store. They shimmy their shoulders and dance
Yeah.
around. They're like, oh my God, I can move. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's like the Conan O'Brien when he does this and then he snips the string. I can't do it, but no.
That's it exactly. So then we've got the balance part. That's the part that,
Mhm.
like you say, is most obviously different about our packs.
Mhm.
I'll hold one up here. So this is one of the pockets that you can put on our pack.
Yeah.
They're interchangeable, so you can put smaller ones on or bigger ones, or even up to
Yeah.
like I said, these camera size. But the big thing that's different about them is that they're built on a frame.
Mhm.
And the frame is pre-curved, so it sits away from your body. There is an air gap there, and it loads into the hip belt, as you say.
Yeah.
So the top part, like I said, this shoulder strap, if you're watching, you can see this shoulder strap, like I said, it can move up and down. And so the way we attach the top of the pocket is with this ring. And so the
Okay.
shoulder strap can still do this, and the pocket stays still.
Oh.
So the shoulder strap can be moving up and down.
Yeah.
The pockets are loading weight into the hip belt
Yeah.
with that frame. And so that just, helps to balance it out. I mean,
Yeah.
the idea behind it all is like getting the load around your center of gravity.
Mhm.
So if you think when you put a pack on, normally you like hike it up and it wants to
Mhm.
pull back on your shoulders and push on in at the bottom of your spine.
Mhm.
But with our product, when you're using the pack and the pockets together, you're trying to put as many heavy, small things in the front as you can. So your phone, your battery pack, your gas
Yeah.
canister, heavy food,
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. Water bottles are great in the front.
Yeah.
To really load as much as you can in the front. And then that's transferring into the hip belt.
Mhm.
And then if you think about your pack, you're putting in bigger, lighter stuff, your sleeping bag.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of volume to it, but it's not that heavy.
I got you. So you're
clothing,
kind of
that
trying to equalize the weight, so to speak, right?
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, you probably never ever get it perfect, but
Hmm.
you get it if you're, once you get used to packing one of our packs, you get it to the point where it makes such a difference.
Yeah.
Because I have to do, like, testing, so I'll sometimes think, "Oh, yeah," excuse me, "people use our packs without pockets,"
Yeah.
and I'll be out on a trip testing a pack, and I have to remember, take the
Yeah.
pockets off, put all that gear in, and
Yeah.
as soon as I do that, I'm sweating and breathing harder.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so we
That's so
actually
cool.
we had a cool study done recently. So the university here in town approached us. So the students have to do like a thesis and stuff.
Hmm.
And one of them came in, got some packs from us, and they basically put all these sensors on them on some subjects and put them on a treadmill without a pack, with a
Yeah.
pack, normal pack, and then with one of our packs. And you see they gave us a model, like a stick figure model, and you see them, walking upright.
Yeah.
With our packs on, they bend over just slightly, and then you put on a traditional pack and you do that. It's like you automatically lean
Yeah.
forward and you
Yeah.
see the stick figure like that. So really kind of demonstrates it.
Yeah.
And then yeah, customizable fit is the third element that we do. Um, again, everyone's different size, shape, height, whatever.
Yeah.
And so we try to make the full harness you can really dial into your body shape.
Yeah.
So if I start at the bottom, I'll show you one of these hip belts a little bit closer. So we've got two fins, which is not that unique, like a
Hmm.
traditional, but not only can you adjust with the webbing at the front, you can also micro adjust where this is sitting.
Oh, okay.
So as you move that around, it changes where it's sitting on your hips. Um,
Okay.
and then this part, we do a stiffer material and a softer material,
Hmm.
and this is able to flex. We build in
Okay.
this so it can actually flex out if it needs to, or it can flex in and dual adjust. So we've got webbing at the top and the bottom.
Yeah.
And as you start to tighten this up, it creates this curve.
Oh, okay.
This one's not broken
Wow.
in, but then it just sits on top of your hip. So it really
Yeah.
takes transfers the load front and back
Yeah.
into your hips around your center of mass.
Yeah. So it looks more like like most things, it's just a strap that's like wrapped around you like this
Yep.
and cuts into you a little bit sometimes, depending
A little
on.
bit.
I've
Yep.
used a lot of packs,
Yep.
and fair few of them are really, really comfortable. But there's that odd one where it's just cutting in, where that one seems like it's got this like cup that kind of, when it tightens, it cups onto your hip bone and stuff like
That's it
that.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So quite
That's
often
wild.
that sells this pack alone compared to other products that we're doing. Is just
Yeah.
people put that on, they tighten it up and go, "Ooh, that's nice."
Yeah.
And then
And
that's 4 sizes. So
yeah.
small through extra large as well. So you can choose a size and then change the range within that size also.
Yeah. And the clip in the front of the hip belt too. It's not
Yep.
your standard like buckle, right? It's like
No,
a
this is what we've designed. It's a quadro buckle, we call it, because
yeah.
of 4 attachment points,
Yeah.
and it spreads the load up and down across your
Yeah.
waist a bit more. So, like, say, instead of it just one single web kind of cutting in a little bit,
Yeah.
it just helps spread the load
Yeah.
across your waist. And then the other thing about it is it's quick release. So this will be
Yeah.
hard to show you on with this one where I'm just holding the 2 fins, but all you have to do is lift that up and it pops
Yeah.
apart.
Which
We've got
is
a lot
which
of
is
river
great.
we've got a lot of river crossings in New Zealand,
Yeah.
and so you've got to be able to take your pack off quickly if you need to. So that's a quick
Yeah.
release button.
Because with the traditional clip too that a lot of bags have, I tend to end up like, once I've got it cinched in, and even if I take the bag off, I'm like, I don't want to adjust the belt anymore. So I throw it on and I'm sucking in to kind of really just get it so I don't do it. And then I end up pinching, if it's summertime, I end up pinching my skin.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I should have just loosened it a little bit. But with that, I know just from trying it on at the show, I was like, oh, this is really smooth. So I can kind of see how like Aarn was like, had all these ideas that people were like, okay, I like these, but maybe not. And he's like, no, they're really good ideas.
Yeah, and he took every single one of them and put them into
Yeah.
her bag. Yeah. So
Because isn't there, like, if you look at the bag too, am I not correct? There's like with that, the way that the bag sits on your body and flows, there's like a rope or a string, right, that goes
Yeah.
through the back.
That's right. Yeah. So it's interconnected. So there's been a lot of different ways that, different iterations over the
Yeah.
year, how it's done. Um, and for those watching, you'll be able to see that, there's a UMPWE, ultra high
Yeah.
molecular weight polyethylene cord that runs through the bottom. Initially, there was a braided cord, but it broke a few times, so we switched to this cord,
Yeah.
and it's never been a problem. But it used to be webbing that went the whole way through, and so
Okay.
now we've moved to a cord. It just makes it that much smoother.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And I think people would look at that bag and think, okay, they've just added so much stuff to it. It must be ridiculously heavy, right? But it's not.
Yeah, I mean, like, our product used to be the ultralight product.
Yeah.
So back in, 10 years ago, then this was the light pack on the wall at about
Hmm.
1.5 kilos.
Yeah.
So it depends on which model. So it'll go from like, so 1,200 grams to like 15.
Yeah.
So it depends. That's at the top range where we have the whole
Yeah.
harness. And we've got packs on the wall behind me that fit into the ultralight community.
Yeah.
But this is the full on harness where it's got every single bell and whistle that he's
Yeah.
come with. I mean, even down to like, um, I don't know if you can see. So I'll describe this since it's a podcast. Our shoulder straps ride on a track,
Yeah.
and the track has a cam device attached to the shoulder strap. So
Okay.
instead of unhooking something and then and adjusting it a little bit at a time, um, all you have to do is pull on this webbing at the bottom of the pack. So you can put this pack on, do up your hip belt, take
Yeah.
out the tension out of the shoulder strap, and then you can dial in the back length yourself while you're in the pack.
That was another, I forgot about that. That was another really unique thing was you can just adjust it on you instead of like me having to take it out, then get like an insert that I have to prop the Velcro off so I can slide up
Yeah,
on some
exactly.
bags, and you're just constantly, I have scrapes on my hand constantly from, actually the shoot I did was we were trying to do like a military-ish kind of thing. So I was using a bag that has like the Velcro in it, and
Yeah.
I don't have the insert, so I just jam my hand in there trying to pry the Velcro off, and
Yep.
I
I've
got
done that
all cut up.
done that a million times and know what you're talking about.
So no, it's really cool because I even looked on the site and you have like the ultralights. I think people, again, just kind of go back to what I was saying, like especially if you're listening, you think there's all these things, but you have very distinct categories for like you have like an ultralight bag. I think there was like a 50. You have a bunch of different sizes, but you have a gambit of things. It's not like you go to, I know everybody harps on REI, but just that's one of the first thing I come to is you get an REI bag that's 5.5 pounds ish, right? And yet yours is 2 pounds lighter and
Yeah.
way more comfortable,
Yes.
2.5 pounds lighter. So
Yeah, there's
you're
a lot of
getting
tech
way
that
more.
goes into it. And, like I say, back in the day, Aarn was, again, that was another thing. He's like, well,
Yeah.
why carry extra weight? So, by having that hip belt adjust so well,
Yeah.
you don't have to have a big chunky hip belt to carry the weight,
Yeah.
example. So you get to lose a little bit of weight there.
Yeah.
So, and we use for the most part, we use a full frame as well. So there's a ventilated mesh back panel and all that sort of stuff on these packs. So
Yeah.
you're not really skimping on any comfort,
Yeah.
which is what we're known for.
Yeah. No, that's good. So I guess going into now part of the brand part of it, so your market is, I know that you're all over the world, but like your main market, New Zealand, Australia, where else?
Yeah, I mean, that'd be the main thing. Like I said, Arn was starting to grow countries and distributors
Mhm.
before he was ill, and now we're starting to build back up to that.
Yeah.
So when we came out of COVID, it was like, and we got going again, it was just restock New Zealand, restock
Yeah.
Australia, and then we've tripled our size in Australia. So then we honestly didn't have a road plan for what we were going to do.
Yeah.
So then it was like, well, are we going to go to the US? Are we going to go to Europe? What do we,
Yeah.
and you do want to be a certain size because the MOQs, the bigger your MOQs get, the better that is. So we talked about it amongst ourselves for a little while. We were going to go to try for Europe first.
Yeah.
The US is notoriously hard to break into as a
Yeah. I've heard.
But I'm from the States originally.
Yeah.
My family's in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So I'm coming home every year anyway. So the one year I was like, I'll grab a couple packs and I'll just go to some stores.
Yeah.
And I showed them around the stores and had really positive feedback, and they were amazed by the harness and
Yeah.
the pockets and stuff. Excuse me. So I was like, well, I'm going to the US every year anyways to see family. So I
Hmm.
started to, we started to look at what we were going to do. And, and what we decided was we wanted to be in outdoor specialty stores.
Hmm.
And we looked into it, and there's this a membership organization called Grassroots Outdoor Alliance.
Hmm.
You've heard of that? So
Yep.
we're like, all right, we want to go to that show.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do. Wrote them, get in touch with them. No, you can't come to the show. Basically, you've got to be doing a certain amount of business with our stores before you get
Yeah.
into the trade show. So that was the first year. The next year, I was like, well, I contacted them again. I'm like, so do you have a way of like for showcasing some new brands? And I actually got better response that time. They're like, actually, yeah, we're kind of putting together something we already do is like bring in new brands at the start of the show
Yeah.
and show them off. So still waiting to try and get an invite for that. It didn't happen. So I took my son for one of the trips, and we just did a vacation around New England. And I went to every single retailer that was part of that membership
Yeah.
organization, showed them our product in person, knocked on the door, forced my
Yeah.
hand. And everyone's like, no, I don't need another backpack brand, especially when coming out of COVID, everyone was overstocked.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
No one wanted a new backpack.
Yeah.
But I was showed the products around, and I just said, "Hey, if you think it's cool, can you let the people at GOA know?" And so by the end of that trip, we had a invite to the Discovery Marketplace, which is for the new brands.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we've done that a few times in a row now. So
Yeah.
now every year I come across, I'm doing trade shows. We're getting into more stores. Um, to the point this year, I felt like we had a little bit of a turning point. I went to the one show, and store owners who had us product in for that year were bringing other store owners to say, "Hey, check out these guys,"
Oh, cool.
and introduce us. So that was
Yeah.
a pretty cool moment. Yeah, getting over that little hump a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it's great to hear that you're like, you're not just sitting on your butt, right? You're like literally going out there. Cause I love hearing people like they work hard. They don't just go, oh, woe is me. You're like, okay, I'm going to go out there because you believe in it. Like the person I had just talked to before you were on, it's like you love your product. You want people to actually have a comfortable hike, and you believe in it. So it's like it's a no brainer, right? Versus, I know you've probably gone to enough trade shows and seen enough sales guys at booths that you're like, oh, this company is not going to do very well because their sales guy is just he doesn't care about it. He's just a sales guy trying to bring it home,
Yeah.
you know.
Every once in
So
a while, you walk past a booth and you see someone just like sat behind their computer or looking at their
yeah,
phone or whatever, not really trying to talk to people. Where I'm
yeah,
like, no one knows us, so I'm like, physically, come on in here, let me show you this product. And so I've done that for a couple years in a row, and now I feel
yeah.
like, yeah, we're starting to get somewhere with it. Yeah.
That's cool. So what would you say, because Arn is so unique? What is some pushback that you see Arn get versus maybe other backpack companies would get? Or what are some things that you like people are like when they were looking at it saying like, this is great, but, or was it, always positive?
No, no, definitely, like, now I understand some of Arn's mindset because Arn still works with us. We
Hmm.
meet on a regular basis.
Oh,
It's his
cool.
baby, so he wants this
Yeah.
thing to go forward, so he still works with us. And initially, he wanted us in our store to put up 2 hanging, mannequins and weight them exactly the same,
Uh-huh.
and then it physically shows you the tilt. And I kept
Ah,
saying,
okay.
"Arn, we don't need to do that in the store. People walk in every single day and ask for your product.
Hmm.
It's not something we need to demonstrate."
Yeah.
Well, now I'm starting to understand why he had that mindset because he'd
Yeah.
been fighting against that idea over the years. And so now I see that going into the US where it's just so completely different than any
Hmm.
backpack that's out there.
Yeah.
They're like, "Well, why would you want to put that big pocket in the front?"
Hmm.
So I it is more explaining now, but and one of the things I realized, just like you, when you put it on, then people go, "Oh, I get it. I get the
Yeah.
moving part. I get the weight distribution." One of my favorite tricks at the trade shows, I put in, like 30 pounds into one of our
Yeah.
packs, one, for pockets and the pack itself, and you put it on someone, they're like, "Oh, this is cool. Yeah, yeah." And then I let them take it off. So they feel how much weight they're carrying,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, that you can
Yeah.
carry that much weight and it's comfortable."
Yeah.
You only have to get to like 3 kilos of weight in your pack before the system starts to have benefit. So if you've got
Yeah.
less than 3 kilos, what's that like, 7 pounds or something.
Hmm.
You get less than that, it doesn't really matter all the
Yeah.
balance part. But as soon as you get over that weight of like 7 pounds, then you start to feel the benefits of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're
That's
we're
wild.
definitely having to get out there and try to tell the story a little bit, more than we're used to. We're
Yeah.
we're definitely used to, like, just people walking in going, "I want one of those." Our friend
No,
has
I
one of
hope,
those.
and I hope that people that are listening right now, or hopefully you're watching on YouTube, that you can see this pack, because I love helping like just spread the word on different brands and stuff like that, because it's so much fun. I'm a real big techie person. I just love like cool new things. And Arn's been around for a while, but it's new in the US, right? And I think people have heard about it enough. They're like, man, I really need to get out and try that and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I guess going into it a little bit is what's one like oh crap moment that you've had since you've had Arn that was just insane that you want to share with everyone?
Um, because we've had a product that's been tested and iterated lots of times, we were
Yeah,
starting off with in a good spot. So I haven't had any, like, really terrible events like that, but, like,
yeah,
from the start, just, like, 2 weeks after we bought it, COVID. And
yeah.
then it was like okay, well, after that, when, Vietnam was coming out of the other end of COVID
Hmm.
and the factory found out that Arn sold the brand, they were like, "We've got enough going on. We don't wanna deal with anyone new." So
Yeah,
the factory that were inheriting didn't wanna deal with us anymore.
yeah.
That was a
Oh
really
no.
scary moment. We're like, "Oh my god, what are we gonna do now?"
Yeah,
Um, and so my business partner actually jumped on a flight to Vietnam and went and smoothed things out and got the relationship going again.
yeah,
So, but
yeah.
that was really scary. It was like, "Oh gosh, how do we do this now?"
The good thing is for, I guess, for you, for Vietnam, it's not that far compared to like
It's
flying from here.
you know,
Is it
it's
still a pretty far
still
flight?
it's still about 15 hours.
Wow, I just didn't even think it was that far for
Yeah,
some
yeah,
reason.
yeah, it's still, you go to Singapore, that's what, 10 hours or
Uh,
something, and then another, eh, couple hours on after that. So, yeah, maybe it's
yeah,
like 13 hours or something. So, still is
yeah,
not a short one.
yeah. Wow. So what was a big like what's something you thought when you got it? I know we had talked about it a little bit earlier, but you thought was going to be easy. And I know you kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier. Was like, oh, I got the business in. I was like, let's just get this and add this to the store. But it ended up being kind of a hard thing.
Yeah, in a way, I mean, maybe COVID did us a favor. We've been able to grow into the
Oh yeah,
except we've had I mean, the benefit is we've run in a retail store, so we have that perspective, and we've done that
yeah,
for years. I've fit packs onto, like I said, literally, it would be like thousands of people. So we've had all of that experience, and we've dealt with lots of brands over the years, so
yeah,
now all of that has helped us to now grow into having a brand and running
yeah,
it ourselves. Um, but probably going into the US, I thought that was, going into the US and the UK, which we're doing at the moment. All of that stuff, I thought, "Oh, it's easy. You just sell into a new
yeah,
country. Doesn't no
yeah.
problem." But the taxes and the, like, do you set up a business? There's
Uh
all
huh.
these bureaucracy that
Hmm.
I had no clue about. Someone gave us
Yeah,
advice at the start. They're like, "The business community here, don't do too many markets in one place." And we looked at
hmm,
each other. We're like, "No, we're just going for it."
yeah,
And then it was like, "Oh, I see," because it takes a long time to get a 3PL set up, and it takes a long time
yeah,
to pull the tax numbers and then the registration and all that, figure out because you've got to collect
yeah.
tax locally and pay tax locally. All of that has been much harder than I imagined.
Yeah. I think I relate to that a little bit because we went from doing 100% wedding photography
Mhm.
to loving the outdoors and saying, okay, we can take amazing pictures. Let's
Yep,
just go and do outdoor pictures. And we were doing commercial work for big brands,
yep,
excuse me. And before we did outdoor gear, so we're like, oh, this is going to be easy. Why not?
yeah,
And then it ended up, it was like I just started over again. Like I'd never done photography. Like, because no one looks at my portfolio of weddings and goes, oh, yeah, you can
y
totally take pictures outdoors.
yeah, yeah,
Right. And I'm like, but I know I can do it. And like, you're the same thing. You're like, I know this product is worth it. It's worthwhile and stuff like that. But there's all this stuff you have to have set up and trust you have to build with,
Yeah, you have to build that trust.
like,
That's
yeah,
the hard part. One of the
like
cool things
GOA.
is,
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I go and show up to places. You know, like
Yeah.
we're real people. We're here. One of the cool things we've had though is I must have had 3 store owners at least come to New Zealand now and check out our store. You know, we've got a
Wow.
separate building for Aarn and
Yeah.
and everything, but we've got a store around the bend
Mhm.
up the block. And yeah, we've had people come over and go, oh, okay, yeah, you're legit.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Um, okay, so going into something else here, I know you had said, I think this is before we got on, about you kind of going out and hiking every once in a while, but how has your relationship with the outdoors changed as you've grown your business? Have you stayed connected with the outdoors? Do you find your outdoors more?
Oh, yeah, it's changed because we've been doing this for, quite a while now in terms of the whole
Hmm.
business part. At first, it got worse. Like, my friends would be off for a kayak trip somewhere, and I'd be, working at the store on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Um, but we're lucky in that we have the Port Hills right next to town, so we've got a
Hmm.
really good it's an old, like, extinct volcanic area, so there's nice hills and trails and stuff there.
Yeah.
So, like, last night, my wife and I just went up and walked to the top of the hills and back again, which is nice. And then
Yeah.
the mountains here are only an hour and a half away. So now I've gotten to the point where we've got more people in place. We have people doing
Mhm.
operations, all that sort of stuff. So as the business has grown, then I've been able to get that time back. And now I'm like at the start of the year, I put in the kids' school vacations and stuff in the
Yeah.
calendar straight away. And I've learned to like carve out that time.
Hmm.
Don't tell anyone else, but I carve out more time than I plan on using.
Yeah.
There's always even after you've grown and you've got lots of a good team around you, you still get 3 people who are sick at the same time, and so
Yeah.
you end up getting called back in and vacations canceled when you're a business owner. But I carve out that time ahead of time at the
Yeah.
start of the year, and so yeah, I get to do more stuff now,
Yeah.
and we get out on like probably at least probably 2 5-day trips a year, backpacking trips, or 5 or 6
Hmm.
days a year, and then some weekends as well. Um, and then occasionally I'll just do stuff on my own as well, where I'm trying to test out a pack,
Yeah.
go out for an overnight. So yeah, it gets worse at the start, and then it gets better as you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess because you grow. I know, like, a lot of people, and I've talked about this before with somebody, but like, you have a bit of a grind that you've got to do in order to get everything kind of flowing, and then you get that flow, and then you can kind of replace portions of what you do with employees, or you kind of can delegate out to the employees you already have
Yeah.
with stuff that you can do. And I think people need to. It's hard to release. Even though you didn't create Arn, it's still Arn is yours, and so it's hard to release your baby to other people and trust them. And I think that's what makes businesses thrive, is people who can trust their employees, and so that way you can get back to what you had originally started your business for in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. And that it's still where, like, if I'm stressed or uh, I just need to step away or think about something or solve a
Yeah.
problem, that's still what I do is I go for a walk, go for
Yeah.
a hike somewhere, and
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, it doesn't seem that bad. We can sort this out. Or we can work through the tariffs. There's no problem at all. It'll be fine.
Yeah. And
Easy.
then by the time you come back from that walk, the tariffs have changed
Ex
completely again anyways.
exactly, yeah. There's definitely a lot of walks around the tariffs, like, stressing
Yeah.
out about that, like, "What do we do?"
That's awesome. And I guess, if someone's listening right now and they have their own business and they're just like, oh, they're just down because they can't separate themselves from it. Like, what would you say to them to help them kind of reconnect to the origins of their company
Yeah, I
or
mean,
their idea?
as a business owner, you are going to have to put in yeah, you definitely have to put in your hard work. There was times where, well, for a long time, I was 6 days a week on the shop floor. But you if you carve out that time, I think it's important
Yeah.
that you do it, and if you learn to do it ahead of time, then you're more likely to make it
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
I used to try and be like, "All right, let's plan something," and, yeah, just seemed to never work out.
Yeah.
Still happens.
Yeah.
I've got a pack I want to test, and I was like, gonna go out with my daughter and do something at the start of this week. And it's like, oh, now I've got to deal with the roof's leaking on the building. I've got to
Yeah.
sort that out, so that gets canceled. But we'll get it back in the calendar
Yeah.
again. But yeah, you just have to schedule it and make sure you do it.
Yeah. I'll be right back. I just realized I was supposed to turn off the oven before I came in here, and I can smell burning sweet potatoes.
All right,
Give
no
me one
worries.
second. I was like, what is that smell?
Uh,
Whew.
you're not smoked out, are you?
Well, dinner's ruined.
You didn't do lots of swearing on your mic or anything, though. Kept it
I
calm.
was just like, oh no. Well, I knew the mic was still on, so I'm just like, oh no, I'm in a little bit of trouble. So
Yeah.
they're probably barely editable. Maybe croutons is what we'll just call them, sweet potato croutons.
Cut out the middle of it.
Yeah, because they're already cut in little cubes, and so
Oh,
they
I
cooked
see, I
really
see.
fast.
Okay. Yep.
And before I got on, my wife was like, "Hey, turn the oven off if they're not ready." And then
Yeah.
I came in here, totally forgot.
Forgot about it.
So
Part of
that's
running
great.
a
Okay,
business,
so
right? Yep.
I'm leaving this all in because this is real life too. So,
Right.
all right. So I guess a couple more questions. What's something, or you know what? Actually, let's do this. Actually, can you tell me a moment that like a customer story or review really hit you hard?
This is going to sound arrogant a little bit, but we get good reviews. So like,
Yeah.
I haven't had any terrible reviews
Yeah.
to deal with. I mean, I told you about replacing that cord that
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
we bought the business when Aarn still had it, but we were dealing with his
Yeah.
customer service. That was an issue. It was like people would come in,
Yeah.
"Oh, I broke the cord," and it's like, all right, we'll get a replacement sorted for you, and then we've upgraded that. But we don't get most of the feedback we get is positive.
Yeah.
It's
But maybe even a story about like a good review that you're like, someone was like, man, this saved, like, because I have lower back issues.
okay.
And so what I love is the fact that I can sit weight on my hip. If I sit the weight on my hip, I'm good. But like when I put that big bag that I had on my trip, it's pulling on my shoulders. Now I'm having all that weight kind of shift down.
Okay.
And so I'm sure you've got some really great stories.
Yeah, I
for
do.
that.
I mean, we get two things. People will say the same thing again and again in reviews, and it'd be
Yeah.
like, "This pack changed my life," this is the most comfortable pack I've ever worn.
Yeah.
And goes back to even before we owned it, but I was in the store the one day, and this group of young people came in, and the woman wanted to get fitted out with a pack, so we were going through the whole thing, getting it all weighted up and fitted to her.
Mhm.
And what was strange was this group of friends were milling around, but they weren't kinda, like, really shopping, and I was kinda confused about what was going on.
Mhm.
This felt like a weird vibe. They were kinda watching us. And eventually, another of her friends came over and said, "Oh, let me see how much weight you've got in that," 'cause we'd been at this for a little while, and she was
Yeah.
just walking around and stuff. And her friend couldn't believe how much weight she was carrying. And it turned out she had back problems.
Yeah.
I mean, she was probably in her 20s or something, and all of her friends, they go on trips together, but all of her friends carried all of her gear for her. So
Oh,
the whole
wow.
group came in to watch her get fitted for an Aarn Pack.
Yeah.
And then, she came back a few times, so I got the whole story and the fact that, yeah, it changed what she could do. So
That's great.
that's a kind of a bit of a theme there. So we get a lot
Yeah.
of, same thing with, like, older customers who have been backpacking for 30 plus years, and they've probably had the same pack for all that time, and they
Yeah.
come in and they're like, "I want one of those Aarn Packs. Here's one."
Yeah.
And it keeps them going for longer. So that's
Yeah.
really, I mean, that's kind of why we didn't want to lose the brand, I told you in the first
Mhm.
place, and that's why we were sold on it before we owned the brand. It was like, this is an amazing product,
Yeah.
and we've got to keep it going, and we should share it with the rest of the world.
Yeah. And I think people need to understand too, like when you talk about putting a lot of weight in it, it doesn't mean like you have to be carrying 60 pounds of weight. It's just you're distributing the weight in a way that 25 pounds that you're carrying now feels so much more natural than what you would typically feel it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because I think that's what.
that's it
No, go ahead.
exactly. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
once you carry one, and you realize, like, I've got an outdoor store, so I have access to all sorts of gear, and
Yeah.
my philosophy is I'm not ultralight at all. I
Yeah.
want to be comfortable, and
Yeah.
so I have lightweight gear, but I'm not carrying, a sub whatever kilo
Yeah.
pack.
Yeah.
I'm taking a mat that's a bit thicker, and I'm going out and I'm being comfortable. I'm not gonna be cold. Um, but it doesn't matter. I can carry that
Yeah.
extra load, and I'm 52. I've got a torn meniscus and all that sort of stuff, and I keep going.
So I guess going into that, then what's one of the weirdest, most unexpected places maybe you've seen an Aarn pack before?
Um, Probably, I mean, they've been taken up to, like, Everest and things like that, so because it's
Oh,
been
cool.
around for a while.
Yeah.
I saw on our social media feed, there was a guy kite surfing in somewhere in the middle of the US, Indiana or something, through the
Yeah.
snow that popped up on our feed this week of, like, a throwback photo.
Yeah.
Um, so he's wearing a pack and kite surfing, through the snow. But I suppose it's more of seeing our product on the trail. So, as a
Yeah.
family, we'll be out, backpacking, and you see other people coming by and they wanna
Yeah.
talk to you like, "Oh, you've got an Aarn Pack, aren't they amazing?" Yeah, sort of thing. You're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, they're pretty cool, aren't they?"
I think that's the best part of owning a company
Yeah,
is whenever I talk to an owner and they get to see what they've either invented or what they own on the trail, you're like, oh, this is so much cooler than just seeing a sale. What we need is actually being used
yeah,
and people are smiling when they're using it.
yeah, people will talk to you all, for a long time, and you're like, eventually, sometimes I'm like, on the trail, I don't know, should I just let people know straight away I'm one of the owners of
Yeah.
Aarn Packs, or should I just, like, just, "Oh, that's cool, yeah, well, yeah, I love my pack too, it's great, yeah."
Yeah.
And then, yeah, my kids used to get a kick out of it. I think they get annoyed now, they're like, "Do we have to talk about Aarn Packs every time someone passes?"
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. My kids do the same thing. They're like, oh my gosh, daddy, we're going to talk about photography again with this
Yeah,
person.
yeah, that's right.
Okay. So I got two more questions for you. Um, what advice would you give? And we've kind of talked about it a little bit, but I would like to kind of finish out with, what's some advice you would give to someone on the trailhead of their own outdoor business or brand?
Alright, yeah, I kinda said before about, like, you've gotta know it's gonna be a grind,
Yeah.
you know? You've People will tell you about that, people warn you if you're starting your own business, it's gonna be
Yeah.
hard, but it's definitely gonna be a grind, you've gotta put in the time. Um, and but I don't know, with all the things that like, starting off on my own and then have a business partnership and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff, I've always had that, like, what's what's it look like? What do I think it's gonna look like? And then
Yeah.
I would work through, like, what's the worst case scenario? If I invest this money, what happens if it all comes apart?
Yeah.
What if this partnership doesn't really work out once you start to do business with someone? So I think that's, like, really kind of work in your scenarios.
Hmm.
And, you've gotta have a product that you believe in, or, the idea. You've gotta kinda test that a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be hard. It's gonna take a while. You're gonna have to stick with it to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if someone has, like, I guess it's a great story from Arn's point of view is like, no idea is too out there, right? Like, your idea, it could be said no by all these big companies and stuff like that, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
And you can take that and run with it and then have a successful business. Because I think when you're out on the trail, like you were saying earlier, how you'll go out and just kind of think when you're on the trail. I think we
Yeah.
all kind of take that, go out there and think. And that's when we have like our same thing when we sit on the toilet or take a shower and you have all these cool ideas that pop into your head. It's the same on the trail, right? You're just relaxed and you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
thinking about
boom,
something
this
else, yeah.
idea.
Yep.
And yeah, I love hearing that. So that's
Yeah, I
great.
mean, well, I was just gonna say one of the things that, happened at Switchback last year, actually,
Yeah.
one of the earlier trade shows I went to last year, excuse me, someone who was high up at one of the, like, top brands, backpack brand,
Hmm.
he came to me, he's like, "I broke my back and I wanted to been watching your product, I'd like to try one out." But
Yeah.
long story short, the more we talked over the summer and then going to the trade shows and stuff, kept bumping into each other, and he's like, "You've got a new category. Your problem is,
Yeah.
like, you have a hard story to communicate because
Mhm.
it's something that's just different. It,
Yeah.
it sits over here in the new category, and you're gonna have to work really hard to tell that story.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you've got that kind of product, then you just have to know that you're gonna have to work
Yeah.
hard to get it out there.
Yeah. That's cool. All right. So I guess we all heard a lot about Arn and everything else, but I want to hear a little bit about you, Daniel. So this is where we kind of go into that rapid fire round
Okay,
and kind of
I'm ready.
little bit about you. So this is the stuff I didn't send you, so we
Okay,
can ask some questions so you can't ever think about it.
all right, cool.
Um, so, but they're simple, like one word, one sentence answers. I'll ask them, and then after that, we'll just kind of finish off with one that I think is my favorite. So, first thing, and because you're in New Zealand, you can say whatever park you want, but favorite national park. It doesn't have to be in the U.S.
All right. Um, well, yeah, I'll do the U.S. Glacier. And
Glacier.
I had a trip when I was at university out to Glacier the one time, and my now wife, we did this trip, and it was just like amazing.
Yeah.
But it was like 30 years ago, so I haven't been there since. But
Yeah.
it was amazing at the time.
Yeah.
Loved it.
But I think that's what's great about national parks is they don't change much. So you can go back 30 years later and you're like, it's just like you remember it, right?
Yeah.
All right, solo hike or crew mission?
Usually a crew mission. I pretty
Yeah.
much go out with my family most of the time. I'll do some
Yeah.
stuff on my own for product testing, but usually we're doing it as I try to make sure we get out a couple times a year.
Yeah.
If I don't do that, the kids start to be like, they get annoyed when I say we're gonna do a trip, and then they're like, when I haven't done one for a while, they're like,
Yeah.
when are we gonna do the trip? So yeah, crew mission.
That's good that they ask. My kids, my son asks, and my other two kids are like, don't even ask me
Yeah.
because I don't want to do anything. It's usually because I end up using them for models, depending on what we're doing.
Yep.
So,
My kids, yeah, they get that.
all right, tent, hammock, or cowboy camping?
Tent.
Tent.
Yeah.
Is there much hammock culture in New Zealand?
A little bit, but like from here to the mountains, there's
Mhm.
not that many trees.
Yeah.
You can be on the tops here, and there's not that much, place to put a hammock. And we
Yeah.
have sand flies, black flies.
Oh, I
Which,
hate those things.
oh yeah, so it depends on where you are, but they can be brutal at times. So
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely have a tent. We also have a hut system here, so we have you can go on trails for days and just go
Yeah.
hut. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
I'm legitimately thinking of planning a trip to New Zealand. So,
Definitely. It's worth doing.
all right. So I guess this one, I love this one. Worst trail snack you've ever tried?
Once I had, it's a brand I love, but a local brand had a bad batch of ground
Yeah.
beef once in a D-high meal. I know that's not a
Oh,
snack, but that was
yeah.
horrendous to, like, have that. From, we now are, like, I don't know what you call it, Scrog, or whatever country you're in, doing our own trail mix, basically. So
Uh-huh.
from a young age, we're into bribing the kids. So it's like
Okay.
we go out and we buy sweets and M&Ms and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff, and we still do it to this day, even though they're, like, 16 and 19. We go out,
Yeah.
we buy all this stuff, put it on the table, and everyone goes along and makes their own bag of stuff,
Oh, that's cool.
which,
Um,
and that keeps them going on the trail, and now it's just become one of those things we can't go out without doing that.
I'm
So
going to do that. That'll
pretty
probably
much
help.
all junk food, throw in some peanuts, but otherwise it's all junk food, pretzels and all sorts of stuff.
That's a good bribe. I think my girls will want to go out more if I give them that option instead of giving them like healthy food. I love the person I just had on was a healthy food and really natural and organic, and that's the way we eat.
Yep.
But sometimes when you're on the trail, just having like nerds clusters or gummy worms
Yeah,
mixed with like
that's it exactly, yeah.
peanuts and
It
stuff like that. Oh,
You
so
give
good.
them the control of it, and it just keeps them going.
Yeah. All right. So I guess that might already played into what's your favorite trail snack.
Yeah, probably, yeah, just doing the mix of
Yeah.
salty stuff and sweet stuff is good. I'm a Cliff Bar fan as well. I love a Cliff Bar. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What's one outdoor skill you still kind of suck at?
I did, like, environmental education and parks and recreation management, so lots of training on various things. I was a sea kayak guide, but, I'm still not the best at weather. I've
Yeah.
got friends who are like, watch the weather and they figure out the patterns, especially on a small island like this. The weather
Yeah.
can change. If it comes from the Antarctic, all of a sudden it's freezing. If it comes from Australia, it's hot. And I'm still not great at like really looking at the weather maps and knowing what's going on. I look, but I don't understand it.
Yeah.
High pressure, low
Let's go with the
pressure
flow.
stuff.
All right. Last thing you Googled related to your business.
EIN number, tax numbers and things. Boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots
That's
of that sort of stuff lately.
What's the biggest splurge you've made for your business?
Definitely be the trade shows going to the US. That's
Yeah.
a fairly expensive operation to come over.
Mhm.
Last year I did 2 months on the road. This year I'm going to actually do 3, where I'm
Oh,
going
wow.
and doing lots of trade shows and then going into stores and doing clinics. So there's a lot of, just because the amount of time you're doing it's fairly
Yeah.
expensive operation to do.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a bit of a splurge.
Yeah. And I guess shipping, depending on how much you ship over, because I know some booths, right? You get there and then they've got pallets, so they've got to unload and they're like, oh no, versus you could probably take more yourself because it's mostly bags, right?
Yeah, I
So,
mean, like that, the packs behind me, that's kind of almost
yeah.
a display that I do at a trade show.
Yeah.
And now I've actually, at first it was like two roller cases, that's it. It's got to fit into
Yeah.
that, or like a banner and some
Yeah.
packs, and that's it. But now, like, we're sponsoring Appalachian Trail Days again this year, and so I now have a tent, a logo tent that
Okay.
I leave in the US. So I leave some gear at my brother's place and
Oh,
show
because you have family. That's right. So it's good.
exactly. So that makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, I used to do it just it had to fit into 2 roller cases or I couldn't take it.
Yeah. That's great. All right. Second to last one. Most used piece of gear in your life right now.
Oh, I suppose I've got to say an Aarn backpack, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you I've got a torn meniscus, so there's like that's my most critical piece of gear to keep going. Is just about
Yeah.
weight balance. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. And then one word your team would use to best describe you and why.
laid back. I'm
Yeah.
probably a bit too laid back. There'll be times where I don't talk to people for days because I'm off doing something. Then I just trust that they're doing and getting things done.
Yeah. No, that's great.
I'll ask after this to see what they have to say.
They'll be like, yep, that's pretty much right.
But
Yeah.
I be called every once in a while.
Well, great. Well, Daniel, thank you so much for being on. I mean, I thought I learned a lot when I met you the first time at the trade show, but I learned so much more. And people who are listening have a chance to make sure you go on YouTube and watch this podcast, because you're going to see a lot about the way Aarn is designed and all that good stuff.
Sure.
And Daniel, if people are looking for Aarn online, how can we find you online and on your socials?
Yep, check us out at aarnpacks.com. Socials will be at the bottom of there. We've got a dealer page there, so we've got more and more stores in the US. So yeah, check out aarnpacks.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And everybody, thank you so much for listening to Beyond the Trailhead again this week. And we look forward to y'all listening next time. Thanks so much, Daniel.
All right, cheers. Thanks.